Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about the Flexbox. What is Flexbox? Flexbox is a tool to make layout of the websites. Actually, the websites we see usually in our day-to-day life are made up of different sections, and different sections are aligned at different positions, and which we called a layout. So for layouting the web page, we use Flexbox. Like in our GDSC IIIT Kalyani website, if we see carefully, if we see them carefully, this is the different section, this is different section, and this is different section. So there are three different layouts, and we and there should be a one parent container which hold these different containers. So all these can be done by using a flexbox. So the parent container which hold all the contain other sub containers inside them is called a flex container, and the elements inside the containers inside the parent container is known as the flex elements. So flex element has two axes, like uh, like main axis. The horizontal one, by default the horizontal one is a main axis, and the vertical one is the column cross axis. So this all these can be managed by a flexbox. So how to make a flexbox? So we can make the flexbox by using the display property by setting the different display property into the flex. Like we are going to make a container or a flex container. So for making the web page, I am making our parent container having a class name of container, and we should have a four different sub containers, which is a flex container. So let me copy paste it. So to give different style, to give them different styling, we use id, and just for a sake of clarity we use we give them a name id. Enough. So let's see how our website is currently looking now. The page is currently looking now. See, we have nothing except this. So let's add some CSS to make it look more good. Get the background color. Go with the light theme like beige will look good. This will look good. And give the height. See, our parent container having a get the background color, and all the elements are aligning themselves according to their given height and width, which is a 200 and 200 pixels. So to distinguish the different container, give them a separate background color. So font. uh, Actually here we should use hashtag because we use id here. Background color red. add some margin and padding to make them more margin of pixel. Add border also. Keep border here also. Solid. This look good. So this is our normal web page. So convert it into a flex web page by adding a property of display by set the property display to flex in a parent container. See, they all are aligning themselves in a row because by default the flex direction is a row. So we can control it by using a flex direction property. Let me flex direction. See, now they align themselves in a column. And let me first for the column, their major axis is vertical one, and and the cross axis is horizontal one. And for the row, their major axis is horizontal one, and their cross axis is vertical one. So now if we inspect this the website, see what will happen. The container started shrinking their width. Now they overflow, and our fourth container become invisible. So if we don't want them to shrink their sizes, what can we do now? For this, if we want a situation when it does not having a enough width, then this fourth or container number 4 will align themselves at the bottom of the container number 1. How to achieve this? To achieve this, we use a flex wrap property. See what will happen first. Flex wrap. To wrap. Now see what will happen. See, this is the normal situation, and now the container will doesn't get the enough space. Then it will automatically shift shift it to the at the bottom of the container number 1. Then again 3 also. Then now what will happen? It will align themselves in a row column. See. For and suppose we doesn't want to, and there is a more property which flex wrap is provided, like no wrap, which will disable the wrap property. Now there will be no wrapping, and there is one more, if we want, like in the wrap, the element the element adjust themselves at the bottom of the container one. But if we want that container number 4 should be the container should move upside upward. So how can we achieve this? We can achieve this by using setting it into a row wrap reverse. See what will happen. Container number 4 we adjust at above the container number 1. See, now container 3, and then here. And carefully look, they all align themselves in a reverse order. Container number 4 is at the top, container number 3 followed and then followed by a container number 2, then followed by a container number 1. This is the very important property flex wrap. Now suppose we want to now suppose we want to adjust themselves. For this, first make a height, set the height of this of our parent container like height of 1000 pixels. I think it will be enough. Oh, now see, now if we want to align all the containers at the center, how can we achieve this? We can achieve this at the center of this line. The container one is starting at the from at the side of the border, at the border, but we want that all the containers should align themselves in a same line but at the center of this line. How can we achieve this? We can achieve this by using a justify content, like justify content center. See, they all arrange themselves at the center of this line. It's a dark color actually. This is at the center of this. Noted that justify content works with respect to the major access. Major access, like currently we are using setting the flex direction at a row. That's why the major axis of the row is the horizontal one. So that's why it arrange the container flex element according to the with respect to the major axis, that is which is at the center of the horizontal axis. So if we change it to column, then now see, it will it arrange themselves all the container with respect to the major axis of column, which is the vertical one. In a column, the major axis is vertical one, and the cross axis is horizontal one. So this container number 1 arrange themselves start from at the center of the center of their major axis, which is the vertical one. So I think it is clear. Now again switch to row. Now suppose if we want to want the situation that container number 1 and container number 4 should remain stick at the border, but the container number 2 and container number 3 have spread themselves spread themselves all over this axis. So how to achieve this? By using space this. Now the container number 1 and container number 4 is stick at the border, and container number 3 and container number 2 getting the space, have gap between the containers, and these This gap is equal to this gap and this gap. All three gaps are equal. And now if we want them, the container number 2 also get all are having a spaces. Uh, so for this we use space around. See what will happen. Now the container number 1 and container number 2 also having the gap. See, if you see carefully, this gap, 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 and this gap. All gaps are equal. All gaps are equal. There is a double the gap with respect to this gap because of these two gaps are added. But we want them. But if we want to align themselves with equal spaces, how can we do this? Achieve this? We can achieve this by using a proper justify content space evenly. This now all the five gaps are equal in size. See, this gap, this gap, this gap, this gap, and this gap. All the five gaps are equal. So these are the very important. These are the very important properties of justify content. It will really very helpful for you for making a layouts. So please remember these properties. So again we are now if we want to uh, 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 align the item according to the cross axis, how can we achieve this? We can achieve this by using a property align item. It align the items according to the cross axis, like this center. Here we are using row. The cross axis of the row is vertical one. So all the boxes are aligning themselves in the at the center of the cross axis. See, in a row, aligning themselves in a center at the center. Again, we have the properties like if we can align themselves at the start, at the end, at the baseline. See, all this, and if we use a column, at the center. See, the cross axis is horizontal one of cross axis of the column is the horizontal one. So these are aligning themselves at the center of their cross axis. So now if we want to make the first we have to convert it into a row. So these are the four containers and this is are the parent container. Now if we want all these four containers should align themselves at the center of their parent container. How can we achieve this? We can achieve this by using a justify container and align items together. Like if we set the justify content at center. So by using the justify content center, all the containers are aligned themselves at the center according to the major axis, which is the horizontal one. Now, if we set the align item at the center, now if we so then the item will arrange themselves at the center according to their cross axis. So see what will happen. See, the item is aligned at the center of the parent container. So by using these two, we can easily position our easily set our container at any position easily. And now we come to the next point of align content. So if we inspect the website, see what will happen. Note there the wrap is on. See what will happen. See, there is a huge gap between the container number 123 and container number 4. See how to fill this gap. We don't want the gap. How to fill it? For this, we use align content to remove the by default. These gaps are by default. We can remove it by using us align guide, align content. At, see, the gap is removed. There is no gap. See, now it will align themselves with respect to star. See. So these properties are very useful properties. It help you a lot while making a website responsive. So now we have looked all the properties according to the parent container, which is a flex container. Now we move to our flex item properties. So suppose we want that container number 1 should display at after container number 4. How can we set this? We can set this by using a order property. Order, let's say 500. See what will happen. Container number 1 will display at the container number after container number 4. Firstly, container number 2 is display, container number 3, container number 4, then container number 1. So it is used to position the flex items. Like uh, let's say we want to display container number 4 at first. So we can order it this by using -1. There should be one. There, yeah. Container, now the container number 4 is display first, then container number 2, then container number 3, then container number 4. So we can arrange the order of the flex element by using the order property. And then uh, so if we inspect it, see all the four boxes are shrinking with the same speed, with the same ratio. Suppose we don't want the same speed. We want container number 1 should shrink faster than all other containers. So how can we achieve this? We can achieve this using a flex shrink property. Flex shrink, which is this. Let's say example for 5. For example, see what will happen. Now now the container number 1 is actually shrinking greater than the at a great speed than container other containers. See, container number 1 is shrinking, and container number 2, 3, 4 is not shrinking here. Started shrinking here. See. Now the container number 3, 4, and 2 are shrinking. So We can change the speed of the container by using a shrink property. See, suppose we want to uh, uh, grow the stretch the container in more speed, like uh, container number 2, like we can achieve this by using a flex grow method by using 10. First, I want to mention that the by default property of the flex grow is it acquire all the empty spaces. So there is a space before using this. There is a space, empty space. But by using the grow property, all the spaces should be will acquire. See, now again, see carefully. See, all the container number 2, 3, 4 are shrinking at the same speed, and container number 1 is shrinking at fast speed other than all other container. See, now carefully look at container number 2. Container number 2 is growing faster than other containers. So all these can be achieved by the flex shrink and flex grow property. And last last element, last property of the flex item is aligning self. Aligning self property is very useful property, like very useful. Suppose we want container number 4 should display at the bottom, and other containers with having the space empty space for of container number 4 should display at the start of the parent container. How to set it? We can achieve this by using a align self property. See, align, so let's say at the base, at, see, align self is the element number 4, container 4 aligning themselves with respect to the cross axis of the row, aligning themselves at the center of the cross axis, and with having a empty space of container number 4 at, and all the other containers are aligning themselves at the start of the main axis, at the start of the cross axis, sorry, with having an empty space for container number 4. So all these can be achieved by a flex box. So these are, so that's it from my side. These are all about for of the flex box. Hope you like it and learned something new.